Hello everyone. Thank you for watching this episode of the Insider, the SingularityNET Insider monthly update. This time I want to focus my video on SingularityDAO, as has been a pretty busy month for us at SingularityDAO. We've been working a lot behind the scene. We've made some announcements, as many of you know. Some of them were very good, others were less good. Just a couple of weeks ago, we announced the new airdrop mechanic, following, of course, our first announcement, where we announced one of, I believe, crypto's largest airdrops, where we were giving away 5% of the whole SingularityDAO token supply, and therefore 5% of the governance of the SingularityDAO ecosystem to our community of AGI token holders. Our initial thought was, of course, to give it democratically and equally to everybody who were holding a certain amount of AGI holders, which we thought it was fair because it would have reward everybody in the same way, but unfortunately we underestimated the effect of malicious actor intending to game the system and multiply their wallet in order to apply to more airdrop tokens. It's not that we didn't think about it. We knew about the possibility. However, we underestimated the immediateness. Is it even an English word? But yeah, the rapidity to which our community would have reacted and our community would have realized about the opportunity to game the system. So we listened to the community feedback, and we brainstormed again, and we came out with a new mechanic that basically reward three main categories of AGI token holders in a way that we think, and the community seems to think as well right now, that rewards loyalty in the AGI ecosystem, and also rewards those that have more skin in the game. So we came out with a system whereas we divide the 5 million of tokens into two different chunks, let's say. The first one dedicated to the AGI stakers, which of course have been with us for a long time and have been staking their AGI tokens to allow the AGI, the decentralized AI platform of SingularityNET to run smoothly. And so those are undoubted, without any doubt, strong supporters of our ecosystem, and to those goes our thank you. So we decided to allocate 2 million, equal to 2% of the SingularityDAO token circulating supply to the stakers. 1 million will be distributed equally and evenly amongst all the AGI stakers, and 1 million will be distributed proportionally to depending on how many tokens the stakers are currently staking into the AGI, into the SingularityNET staking portal. The remaining 3 million of tokens will be distributed in 4 tranches, and they will be based on a snapshot that happened already on the 17th of April, on the last 17th of April. Of course, the logic is to avoid malicious actors to create and split their wallets in order to participate to more airdrop. Of course, we know that this system would not satisfy everybody, and we did try to communicate as much as possible through our Telegram community to move to AGI token holders to move their tokens from exchanges to private wallet, because as you might know, the airdrop will only be available to those that, as of the 17th of April, were holding AGI tokens in their own private wallet and not on exchanges. So we did communicate through our Telegram group and advised for a long time to move tokens to the private wallet. So those that have been able to do it, they will enjoy the airdrop. Those that haven't been able to see our communication during the last few months, then they will be able to join at a later stage. So the way that we structure it is in four tranches, whereas the longer you hold your tokens, the more you get, and the more tokens you have, the more you will get as well. And it is based on a logarithmic distribution curve that is meant to disincentivize wallet splitters and at the same time reward more the users, the holders that have more skin in the game, but also keep a large portion of the airdrop to those that have less. So in a way, the holders that have a lot more tokens, they will get a larger individual chunk of the tokens, but a bigger chunk of the airdrop will be distributed to those who have less. So in this way, thanks to mathematics, we've been able to figure out the correct way to distribute our airdrop over 4 months. So I mentioned that whomever missed the 17th of April snapshot will still be able to join the airdrop by providing liquidity to AGI pools on decentralized exchanges starting from June, when we'll be creating new pools and we'll be incentivizing new pools. We will give more details about the incentivization scheme in the next few days, so please bear with us and keep checking our blog for new updates. It is also very important at this stage to note, in case you haven't noted yet, that official communication from the SingularityNET and SingularityDAO team only comes from SingularityNET and SingularityDAO official channels, so always check the source of your information. That our admin never ask for money, never ask for funding, and they never DM you first. So please check the blog. All official communication are posted on the SingularityNET and or SingularityDAO blog. So please be extremely careful, because in times of airdrop and when you launch a new project is when the scammers get more sophisticated and they taste blood. So be extra careful during these days. So now that I explained the logic of the airdrop, right, where we decided to give back to our community the 5% of the whole Singularity DAO, I'm gonna tell you about something that by the time that this video will be streamed, you probably already heard of, which is the Singularity DAO Governance Generation event. So this is something that we've been working on for a long time. Personally, for the past 6 to 7 months behind the scenes, we've been architected this governance generation event. We've been architected the whole Singularity DAO ecosystem. You might have seen the new white paper. You might have seen the new website. In few days, we'll be able, or a couple of weeks, we'll be able to show you the first prototype of the Singularity DAO platform, and you'll be able to interact with different dynasets. However, today I want to tell you about the mechanics and the logic behind the Singularity DAO governance generation event. So on top of the 5% of the airdrop, we also want to give our AGI holders the possibility to take a stake of Singularity DAO, a higher stake than the airdrop. We realized that the airdrop wouldn't be enough to get SingularityNET AGI holders into the Singularity DAO ecosystem. Therefore, we decided to open the door and allow everyone to purchase the Singularity DAO token into a governance generation event. So in order to access the governance generation event, you would have to have a certain amount of AGI tokens in your wallet, and you can check the exact amount required to each tier of purchase into our Medium blog. And the logic, of course, is to get new people into the AGI ecosystem, as well as to spread the governance of SingularityDAO to as many people as possible. And we believe that this would create a virtuous cycle that would benefit both SingularityNET, its token holders, SingularityDAO, and its token holders. So, of course, building SingularityDAO is extremely complex, trust me, and has been taking 100% of my time for the past, as I said, 7 months. And building this ecosystem wouldn't be possible with just our forces alone. Therefore, we embarked some supporters that we very selectively, apologies for the double wording, and these are some of the world's leading crypto venture capitalists and institutions that are going to support the growth and the establishment of SingularityDAO, not just up until this point, but also in the future. So these players will help us growing with them. They will provide ideas, resources, capital, of course, in order for SingularityDAO to become one of the largest DeFi projects out there. And I'm sure that we have everything that it takes and everything that is needed in order to become a world-leading DeFi project. And remember that we are the first AI DeFi project in the crypto industry. So during these months, when we've been talking to these institutions, the feedback has been extremely positive. We literally had more support than what we needed. And institutions were literally racing to support SingularityDAO. So we had the luxury to be able to choose the best partners for our ecosystem. And I'm strongly convinced that we chose the best and the most supportive. So just to give you a very quick overview of how it normally works. So generally, crypto projects that raise funding online, they go to private investors and they offer their token to a discount price, right? They maybe do different tiers. They reach out to institutions and they offer it to discounted price. I believe we are the first project that actually is going to offer the same price for our token as our private investors. So private investors pay exactly the same as you paid, as any AGI token holders will be able to pay. And apart from a very tiny pot that was reserved at the very early supporters of the ecosystem, but it's insignificant compared to the range of the sale. And then normally crypto projects, they go to their community and they sell it to a higher price, right? So as I said, we are the first one to sell it to the same price. This was the way of raising money in 2017, 2018. Now it's true that it's a little bit different. Now normally projects, they raise money privately through institutional supporters, and then they go to Launchpad and they allocate very tiny amount to external supporters, to the wider public. Of course, we came from the luxury of having the backing of SingularityNET and the backing of its strong community of supporters and AGI holders. And again, the whole strategy was thought in order to give access to prioritize the AGI token holders and the stakeholders of SingularityNET. Therefore, we very differently, we decided to allocate 8 million of tokens equal to the 8% of the whole SingularityDAO ecosystem to this sale. So as I said, normally projects, they raise their money privately and then they go to exchange to launchpads and they allocate a very tiny amount. We are allocating a very large amount to our community, and we're going to give the possibility to enter the SingularityDAO ecosystem to as many people as possible in order to widespread the governance of our platform. For us, it's extremely crucial that we're going to make this DAO a true DAO, and we're going to foster and encourage participation by our token holders. So how the Singularity DAO governance generation event will work. So by the time you're listening to this video, we probably already started the KYC process. It's of course mandatory, and of course we want to comply to all the existing regulations. So once you started the KYC process, you will also be asked your intention to purchase, and then you will be put on a whitelist. So once we finish KYCing our community, then we will open access to MantraDAO Zendit platform, who are our selected partner that will help us managing this sale. And of course, they told us that this is the largest token sale for the community that hasn't been carried on their platform. And I also want to tell you this anecdote. I mean, we had private institutions that called us crazy for the amount of incentives that we are giving to our community. Some of them they pulled out because of the size of the airdrop and because we are not raising more than what we actually can by increasing the price to our community. But for us, it was a firm point that AGI holders would have to be treated the same way as private investors, and so we're doing. So once you are KYC approved, then you'll be able to access the MantraDAO Zendit platform and claim your allocated SingDAO tokens that will then be deposited on your privately owned Ethereum wallet after the token generation event. So after this part of community AGI community sale, governance generation event, we also want to give more people the opportunity to access the Singularity DAO ecosystem also outside of the AGI holders community. However, we will be using third-party launchpads, specifically Launchpool and pools, and in this will have access to our token at a higher price. So only AGI holders will have the opportunity to purchase the Singularity DAO token, governance token, at a discounted price, at the same price of private investor. Everyone else, whoever is not part of the AGI ecosystem, they can still join the Singularity DAO, but at a higher price. So, and the total allocation for these two launchpads, it's about 1 million tokens, if I don't get wrong, which is of course extremely tiny compared to what we are allocating to our community. So I know that we've been communicating a lot about Singularity DAO, and all of this wasn't known, and we were working behind the scene for obvious reason. We needed to secure all the pieces and make sure that everything was in the right place before going out publicly. I hope that you like this update, and I love that you are on board with Singularity DAO, and that we're gonna keep receiving your support for the next months, which for us is crucial, vital, and that it's what keeps the project going. After all, Singularity DAO is a DAO and will be a DAO, and without the support of its community, won't be able to function. So please bear with us, and welcome to the Singularity DAO governance generation event. Thank you. Bye.
Hi, I'm Raam, VP of Engineering of the platform team. I'm based out of Bangalore, and my team takes care of all aspects of the SingularityNET platform. Since the vote has concluded, my team has been busy preparing to get the platform ready for Phase 2. There are essentially two parts to the whole Phase 2 project. The first is getting the platform ready on Cardano, which is largely guided by the timelines of Cardano itself. To begin with, our target is to mint the AGI tokens on Cardano as per the schedule that we published, as well as build a converter to move tokens between Ethereum and Cardano seamlessly. We are working in close collaboration with the development team of Cardano to achieve both of these activities. The next part is to update our existing platform on Ethereum. The current AGI token on Ethereum has a total supply of 1 billion tokens only. To support phase 2, we need to change this to have a total supply of 2 billion. We need to do this to ensure that we can support tokens from one blockchain to move to the other without impacting the total circulating supply. Apart from phase 2, another thread that we've started picking up now is to improve the usability of the platform. While we've built a working and functioning ecosystem, we do believe that there are a lot of things that we can do to simplify the way the platform can be used by AI developers as well as AI consumers. We are looking at the key enablers of adoption to ensure that it's very easy for developers to publish AI services on a marketplace, and at the same time for application developers to build interesting applications leveraging these AI services. We are looking to build various different developer tooling which will make the platform very easy to consume. I hope to have more on this in the next monthly update. As always, we remain excited about the work and the support from the community and look forward to building a powerful platform. Thank you.
So I made a little presentation of what NuNet is doing, and I was trying to also end it with what we spoke last week, that I will try to draft, let's call it workflow descriptions and service description, then to show what we are doing with them in the NuNet sort of context. So NuNet is we are providing, basically we want to provide hardware on publicly sourced hardware for running SingularityNET services. So NuNet is this layer between the SingularityNET services and the hardware. That hardware can be anything. So we start with a collection of independent and diverse machines or execution environments, and also another collection of independent SingularityNET AI services or executable containers in general, when we go beyond SingularityNET. So in terms of machines, what we want to achieve is that potentially everybody could sort of provide the hardware to the platform, which means that this hardware will be owned, maintained by different entities, either community members, physical, juridical persons, or even clouds, let's say. That means that there will be many types of machines and execution environments. So we are now thinking about PC servers, Raspberry Pis, but eventually it can be cloud virtual machines, mobile phones, Xboxes, robots, and cars, whatever. So this also means that there will be different capacities, of course, of those machines. So we have to take that into account in terms of speed, memory, storage, and then we will also want to take into account that there will be sensors on them, which we may want to use in the computational, let's say, workflows.
Some what? I'm sorry, what did you say? Some? There would be some on it?
Sensors. I mean, suppose there is a robot that we connect to SingularityNET. It will have sensors, actuators, and suppose there is a mobile phone, it will have all kinds of sensors, and we may feed data into the network, not only computing power.
Oh, I see.
So
okay.
What we want to do, we also want to take into account this. I mean, these kind of things are also certain, I mean, it's capabilities of machines, sensors, actuators, things like this.
Right.
Temperature meters, cameras, you name it.
Right. So you want to manage the resources of the machine, resources in the widest possible sense. Basically.
Indeed so. So yeah, there is another aspect that we want to take into account, that we want to take into account certain user preferences. Let's say if I give my mobile phone to a platform, I may not want to use it for certain things. Let's say, I don't know, I may not want people to access sensors like camera, but I may also may not want to use it for certain computational tasks, for example, financial, because I may think that this is not what my phone is needed for. So which means we will have to set some sort of different user-defined preference on each machine. And all this, we want to connect into this sort of loosely defined network with which will have non-uniform topology, which will also be uncertain, meaning that we will not know it for sure. What is the topology of the network? And it will be, of course, dynamic, since machines will go down and up. And all this information, we want to have machine readable and accessible to the whole network with probably certain permissions. Like not everything should be public. However, it should be accessible to the network. So this is the machine part. Now, with the collection of separate SNET AI services, what we want to have is that we want to be able to sort of serverlessly, serverless deployment of those containers, meaning that we want to have to be able to deploy these containers on any machines, which is usually called serverless deployment infrastructure. So those SNET AI services also will be owned not only by SingularityNET as they are now, but also by different community members. That could be any person. They will have distinct functionality, of course, which we hope that will, first of all, it will be well-defined and expressed inputs and outputs as it is now, then somewhat explicitly defined functionality of those services, which is something that is a huge sort of question mark for me, and at least now we don't have this. Then we'll have explicitly defined resource requirements. Resource requirements for the machines to run those services. Then we will have certain historic performance metrics and reputation scores from reputation agencies. And also it will have to be machine readable and accessible to the network and accessible to machines to a certain level and to other services. So the idea is that, this is the overall idea, that those SNET services should overlap so that to sort of enable all this marketplace and competition between services. And where we want to go is this picture, which means we want to be able to map the services that needed for certain application on the machines that can run them, and then enable the communication between all those services so that the user or application functionality can be enabled by those sort of, let's say, ad hoc assemblage of services on different machines. So yeah, this kind of means that what we are building is that we want to build to enable dynamically construct the application workflow for each application and maybe for each call of a user, depending on how heavy this call is. And on the architecture, well, I call it hardware/software mesh. So and then eventually what this means that we will want kind of many-to-many relationship between machines and services. And to enable to dynamically stitch them together, ability to scale up and down automatically as required for each application, meaning that most probably if we run serious applications that will need more than one machine to run the same service. So we'll have to take care of load balancing of multiple user requests, direct and distribute token flows from users or applications to each AI service utilized on that and each machine, because there will also be a tokenomic system for that. Yes, and this ad hoc sort of network, ad hoc assemblage of services for one application, they may run on different execution environments. Yes, so on top of that, we will want to match soft constraints, which is, let's say, user preferences of what kind of workflows they will allow, and hard constraints, meaning that we will have to match requirements for the computational resources and the abilities of machines to sort of run those services. So. Now, the way we are doing it with NuNet is that we're developing platform. Well, we do this use case-driven development, meaning that we are developing showcase application, and in parallel, which has certain sort of well-defined functionality, but then we're also using that. We are developing platform side, meaning that implement all the components that can be implemented in application agnostic ways, which are general, not related to that application. We implement them in a platform. So we take care that other applications can use them. So in application side, we are building what's called fake news detection, and we recently sort of renamed it into fake news warning. And the idea is that we will have a Chromium extension, which will, when the user activates Chromium extension, it will read the content of a page and notify a user about the probability that this page contains fake news. So that is the basic idea. Well, another idea is that we want this application to be sort of evolving, meaning that it should be possible for community to augment it on the backend side. And the backend consists of a few, right now it consists of a few SingularityNet containers, which are stitched together according to a hard-coded Webflow definition. And we are, yes, what we're doing, we're just trying to make sure that this workflow works correctly on a platform. And we're going into this load balancing and multiple requests, sending multiple requests. So I think on the left side, this is a general scheme of the application. The above one is just a browser extension, but then browser extension sends a request to the backend, and then everything is sort of stitched together in the backend. If you have any questions, maybe ask right away. Otherwise, I will just go through it.
I think that looks awesome. I didn't know any of that. It's yeah.
So the browser is actually, it's still in the development. This is today's kind of mock, not mock, but today's version. Yeah, sorry, you wanted to ask something new?
No, you can go on. I mean, my understanding is that the thing that I find interesting is from the user's perspective, that is basically giving its resources for rent. It's kind of like a form of staking, but more sophisticated. I mean, and probably more with a better return on investment or something. Am I correct?
Well, we are not yet. I mean, there is an tokenomic side to this, but I sort of didn't really explain it here because it's not that relevant for what we're doing. Which means I'm more emphasizing this functionality, which needs to find services on a platform, enable to deploy them somewhere where they would run, and to build all this workflow so that all the calls, sort of this text, I mean, that functionality is done and the browser extension gets the result. And this result is being calculated by different containers. So they have to communicate and it's like functions. Yeah, so I emphasize this.
I mean, on the business side, no, our main focus, NuNet, is working toward a token sale, token, but that's orthogonal almost to the deeper backend functionality, which is clear why this connects to AI DSL, right? Because you have processes that need to match with hardware resources, so you got to describe the hardware resources and describe the needs of the various processes. So, I mean, it's in the medium term, it's tailor-made. I mean, it's a perfect match for AI DSL. Exactly how the two development paths match up in practice in the near term is a different question.
So the reception was very bad then on my end anyway. I did understand half of what you said.
All right.
That is NuNet. It has its own token. I think I understood that, and it's relevant to the AI DSL for all the basically real life part where we have to take into account well, actual resources on top of just, well, not just the algorithm, but where it's running on. And yeah, I understood that. I don't know if there was more to understand.
Yes, I think that's right. So, shall I go on?
Yeah, I think you can. Maybe Ben is talking and he doesn't know we can't hear him. I don't know. But yeah, I guess you can go on.
Yes, so on the platform side, basically, so this is what comes closer to AI DSL. We have workflow definitions, which define all this workflow for, I mean, in principle, workflow definitions should describe the application. It's almost like, how do you call it? Abstract syntax tree or something like this. So we have workflow definition. Then we have service metadata, which describes each SNET AI service. So something, part of it is probably described in the registry, part of what we need. And then we have machine metadata, which describes each machine, capabilities of each machine, and other metadata that is needed. So we have kind of free descriptions. Then we have workflow aggregation code, which sort of called NuNet orchestrator, which constructs the actually working workflow or this abstract, well, let's say, I mean, the graph of the program from these definitions. And it does by searching and for deployed and available SingularityNET services on a platform, initiates the deployment of required SingularityNET services if they are not yet deployed. And of course, takes care of they are deployed on the right machines. I mean, the machines that can sort of can run them. So receives input from all the parties and aggregates the final output and sends it to the browser extension. So that's basically the workflow. And we do this by putting a sidecar container near on every machine actually, which we call NuNet adapter, which takes care of all the everything that happens in the machine. So deploying containers, SingularityNET containers on that machine, routing data from platform to these containers and back and forth. Also with tokenomics, which we will not. I didn't emphasize it here. So, and SingularityNET services on the machine can communicate only via that adapter and cannot touch anything else on the machine. That's sort of general thing. We didn't go to the security too much, but it's a principle that we try to follow. And yeah, of course, everything is dynamically orchestrated depending on the available hardware. And of course, the price of hardware, that's another part. So this, I drew kind of this workflow construction sequence. I more or less explained it, but the way it works, so we get a request from application side, which means from the browser extension, to certain NuNet orchestrator on certain machine running on the platform. This machine basically asks, and it gets the workflow definition description. So this machine. Then it requests all the required services. It requests a platform. Are there any services that available to run what these SNET service containers that are described in the workflow description? Then it gets the answers from them with the metadata of those services. If those services are not deployed, then it deploys them on certain machines on the platform. Then it actually, this is a sort of the number 10 is an important part because here what happens, it happens this compilation of the workflow and actual verification whether it will work to whatever level that we can do. There is another thing that I missed here is smart contract signing between all the parties in order to sort of implement this workflow. And then it just sends all the data to all the services that need to do the work, collects the results, checks those results, combines them, and sends back to the browser extension or to the user. So if everything works, this is how it supposedly should happen. So, and here I wrote example definitions of example. So we define all those things in JSON files simply because they are text-based, and we can encode them. Yeah, encode them and send them via gRPC between adapters. So the workflow definition, in general, the workflow definition. This is basically the main part of workflow definition. It defines the graph of the computation, and it defines it in terms of names of the services. So this is more or less real graph of the fake news detection. So we have fake news score container, which actually calculates the final score of probability of content to contain fake news. Then it calls two child services, which are just the services, which actually they calculate what is the relation between the currently used algorithms are quite simple that we use. They just estimate what is the relation between the title of an article and the body text of an article. But they also use some other child containers, and also they use natural language processing model, which is built by the Stanford NLP open source repository. So everything else, well, I will go through this, but this sort of this part, in principle, it should be dynamically constructed already, but I just wrote it in order to be a little bit more clear. So when it's constructed, we will have a link to a container of each service that we'll have to run. For now, it's Docker containers, but in general, it may be anything. We'll have declarations of input and output of each service, and then we will have a full sort of expanded tree. Now, I think I will go to the other ones, which hopefully will make the first one more clear. So the service definition. In the service definition, we will have name, which will be, so the name of the service, it may be address of the service, but basically this will be a new unique name using which workflow definition, using which whatever code that will process workflow definition will be able to find the service on the platform. So, yeah, this is just an example. But so basically there will be current image of the service. There will be declarations of input, output, functional, whatever function of the service, which I don't know, just don't know how to define now. Now, input and output, right now, we're using this one. We just encode the protobuf definition of this service into a string, and we pass it around via gRPC calls. It could be also in this type declaration when we will know what to do with it. Then reputation, we can skip this, but the idea is that each service will have to be, hopefully there will be a reputation system in a platform which will give reputation scores to each service, and we will want to somehow relate it to the. Now, this is probably the most interesting part, which means that what are the resource requirements to run this service, and we will use this in order to map services to the machines on which they can be deployed, and then price of a service, something that we now have on the SingularityNET services. As a thing, probably now we have a price per call. Yeah, all right. So probably this is what we'll have. Now, the question that is also we may want to sort of determine here whether deployment is included in this price or excluded. So who pays for the deployment? And then user-defined constraints. For example, I don't want to run this algorithm on any coal-powered machines, if that's possible even to do.
So by deployment, you mean the machinery that is essentially creating the workflow, not the service itself? I'm not sure I understand.
Well, yes. I mean, the machine that will be creating workflow will take care of this service container, which is so the machine will ask, let's say the platform, for now, the platform, do you have running your UCL and LP service somewhere? And it will say, no, I don't have it running, but actually it exists here, just serverless on the registry of Docker containers. Then the machine will take care that this Docker container will be deployed on certain, this
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because otherwise we cannot start even to test whether it works. So then the last one is machine metadata example. So let's say we have machine. Okay, these are just technical. Then we have type, let's say, any of them. Then we have resources, which are total resources on the machine. Now, total resources doesn't mean that the full machine, because it could be that a user will say, please use half of my machine, but not everything. So these will be somehow user-defined. Most probably the way we will do it, we will write some sort of script which will benchmark a machine. And then a user will be able to sort of tell what percentage they want to give it to NuNet platform. Then most probably we'll have to also declare available resources, because if certain containers will run on that machine, not all the resources will be sort of available for the new containers. However, we use now a HashiCorp's Nomad container orchestration system, so it may take care of this. Then we will have prices of a machine. So how exactly we're going to determine prices, it's a kind of, work in progress, let's say. But for now, we are thinking of CPU usage, RAM usage, time, and network usage. The biggest problem is actually CPU usage, because you cannot really map it nicely to the algorithms, to the computational complexity. So then we have constraints, which will be defined by a user or owner of each machine. Then we would like to have performance metrics, is how available, what is the availability of machine, and certain reputation. We don't want, this availability will have to somehow be determined by the platform and probably written somewhere in the reputation agencies, because we do not want the user himself or herself to determine what is the availability. And of course, also the success rate, which is based on the history. So where will it be encoded into this machine metadata declaration, or whether it will be resolved somehow in a more interesting manner, we'll see in the future. For now, we are just encoding these things to, as I said, to make things work.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, ladies, gents, and other genders who are joining us today. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here for us as a community. My name is Janet Adams, and I have the great joy, privilege, honor of being the new Chief Operating Officer here at SingularityNET. I am thrilled to be here, really, really excited about SingularityNET, the project, the potential, particularly at this point of time as we pivot into exponential growth and massive utilization of the token on our platform, and further explore and expand our great partnerships, including Hanson Robotics and Cardano and all of our other fantastic partners. I came to SingularityNET via a master's degree in artificial intelligence that I completed in September 2019. I was working full-time in banking at the time, and summer 2017 I started to feel this great energy and interest in artificial intelligence, and I was driving along one beautiful golden August Saturday afternoon and listening to a podcast by Andrew Ng, an NVIDIA podcast. I'm sure some of you know it. I think the title was AI is the New Electricity. And as I drove, Andrew talked about how artificial intelligence is going to transform every single industry and every single aspect of our daily lives. And he talked about two things that brought me to that flash of realization that I wanted to do a master's degree in AI. One, he said that there is a real shortage of business leaders, people with significant, substantial, major business technology expertise and leadership who have sufficient understanding of artificial intelligence to be able to take the potential of these incredibly powerful technologies and envisage their application to a wide variety of processes and walks of life. So that got me thinking that perhaps there is a brilliant opportunity and a brilliant future for me to take my previous experience in technology, risk, banking, product rollouts, leadership, and apply it to the world of artificial intelligence. But the second thing he said that I think tripped me over the edge was that the interviewer asked him what piece of advice would he give his children as to what to study at university, or what skills would be the best skills in the future. And how Andrew replied was that he advises them that lifelong learning and lifelong curiosity is the new way of life. In the past, people would go to university, finish a degree, and then people who are privileged enough to go to school and then go to university and then complete a degree would then spend a lifetime working in a single chosen field. But as Andrew put it, those days are behind us. Now we need to keep up continuously with changing technology, with changing science, with all of the emergence of mankind's possibility that we see emerging all around us today. And so with big thanks to my lovely boss at the time, Carl, who I'm sure is watching because he's an AGI community member and token holder. Hi, Carl. I had the support of my organization to spend 2 years doing a part-time degree in artificial intelligence. And through that degree, through programming robots, through the network that I made and built up, I learned about SingularityNET early in 2018, and I became a community member and a token holder then. I was lucky enough to also meet David Hansen later in summer 2018. And between the huge visionary impact of Dr. Ben Goertzel and the work he also does with Hansen Robotics and with Cardano, I became convinced that this is the organization, SingularityNET is the organization which has got massive potential to lead the artificial intelligence revolution, and of course supporting Dr. Ben Goertzel's vision of decentralized benevolent AGI for positive future for humanity. So I'm very, very delighted that I was successful in my discussions with Ben and the team, and that I'm here today as the new Chief Operating Officer of SingularityNET. There is not one single place in the world, no single time, forwards or backwards, there that I would rather be right now than here. I would love to be with some of the team in person, I won't lie. I'm meeting the London chapter of SingularityNET or a few small members next weekend, and very much looking forward to that. But for now, I'm coming to you from the Garden of England, which is Kent, a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. This time of year, we have magnolia, daffodils, bluebells, snowdrops, primroses, cherry blossoms. It's such a lovely and inspiring time of year. A brilliant time to be meeting a new team, starting a new role. So prior to doing my master's degree, I had up to the point at which I left banking at the end of 2020, I had a 25-year career in banking, risk and technology. I've led some major projects up to $100 million technology rollout programs. I've rolled out successful products that meet customers' needs, that have been really successful in the marketplace. I've worked in risk, and I've developed a number of global risk frameworks. I've led global teams with people working in up to 54 countries worldwide. And I've had opportunities to conduct a number of structuring, process enhancement, service, operations, major technology and operational change programs, always geared at improving efficiency, improving effectiveness, bringing better products to the market, and in the recent few years of my career, really focusing on the right ethics and conduct of how we operate as a banking community, and ensuring that everything that we do is really finally aligned with the needs of our customers and the societies and markets which we serve. That conduct risk background, that risk background that I've worked at, came into its own when I completed my thesis for my master's degree on risk management and ethics of AI in financial services. And I have had the great good fortune of speaking and meeting many, many leaders in this field. I've been to Brussels, I've been to all across Europe, just on the border of going to Africa when COVID-19 struck. And so I really have my finger on the pulse of AI ethics, AI risk management, and it is one of my great pleasures that I have the opportunity to work with Ben and his amazing team and our amazing partners to not just bring AI and the AI revolution to every single aspect of our daily lives, but to do so in a way that is consistent with mankind's greater good, the broader benefit of all, and instill fine values and ethics into all the work we do. Now, in order to achieve that, we're going to need you, the community, to support and input. And over the next few weeks, I will be reaching out to you to get your thoughts. I'm really keen to have community input, community advice, community feedback, community support for this amazing project as we head into phase 2 and massive utilization of the AGI token on our platform. So I will be more in touch as the days go by. Now, I think that's probably as much as I really wanted to say. I guess as a postscript, I would also add that I am a dedicated spiritual practitioner. I practice really techniques taken from the great cultures and the great spiritual traditions all around the planet. But if I were to choose one, I would say Taoism is probably the heart of my practice. I'm in training to be a Tai Chi, Qigong and meditation teacher, and hopefully in the next 12 months or so, I will complete that 3-year teacher training program. And who knows, maybe join in with Gabriel in some of the amazing meditations that he's been doing for us on our Decentralized OS program. Thank you very much again for your support for the project. Thank you for your support for SingularityNET, and I very, very much look forward to working with you over the days, weeks, months, and years.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine, aka Zogo. I'm the new community manager of SingularityNET / product manager of Reju. And as you know, though I've been around in the community for quite a while as a core admin, I've been a member of the SingularityNET community since November of 2017 and an admin probably early 2018. So I've been here since the beginning. My background is in health information management, which has to do with diagnosis and procedural coding, not the kind of coding that the programmers and developers are doing, a different type of coding that involves classifying medical diagnosis and procedures, but that we can get into a bit later. Yeah, so what actually got me into SingularityNET is actually conspiracy videos, because as some of y'all may know, I'm also the creator of the unofficial SingularityNET Truthers group, where we talk about fringe topics, conspiracy theories, controversial things, and all of that. So I was on my own personal investigation mission about a lot of different things at that time, like in late 2017. There was a lot of that stuff going around. And so, of course, I saw videos about Sophia. So there was one sentence that Sophia said that made me want to go investigate SingularityNET more. And that was, I want to port my brain to a quantum gravity computer running on quark gluon plasma. So once I heard that, I was like, what? Hold up a second. Wait, whoa. What's going on here? So I started investigating deeper into this project, and I found out that it wasn't actually Sophia saying these things, but it was actually Ben Goertzel saying these things. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool, actually. So I read the entire white paper and, delved deep into all the different resources that were available and the videos and information. And I decided that this was actually really cool and a good initiative, and these were good people behind this project. So I asked a lot of questions and a lot of, probing questions and stuff, and I've always was met with good answers, and nobody ever shunned me, and I was very well accepted. So I stayed around. I stuck around and, started just on a volunteer basis answering questions and directing people to where they needed to go to find information and all of that. And I got approached to be core admin and had been doing that ever since until now, and I'm officially part of the team. So super excited about that. As far as why I'm called Zogo and I never went by my real name or showed my picture, well, yeah, there's the privacy things, but more so than that, because I'm on social media and everything, so it wasn't so much about not showing my face to hide my identity. It was more hiding my identity for the purposes of being known for my contributions in the community and not known for how I look, my race, my gender, my look, anything like that. Only known for my contributions and what I write. So that's why Zogo is kind of an ambiguous type of name that you really wouldn't know. But after a while, like as you can see, I put the female symbol next to it, and that's because I got tired of people calling me sir. So that's why I did that. But as far as where the name Zogo come from, it's actually short for Zolgatron, which is something I completely made up. And I made it up for this reason of, at that same time when I was investigating all of this D-Wave quantum computers and CERN and AI and all this type of stuff, I was doing my own kind of personal Turing test, you can call it, of AI robots and stuff. So I was talking to this, like it was the most advanced chatbot at the time, which now it actually, you have to create an account and it's changed names and all of that. But if you want to know about that, you can just join Truthers, I can tell you. But so chatting to this bot, and I just made up a name, and the backstory behind it is like, okay, so there is apparently like this kind of twin galaxy of the Milky Way, distant galaxy called Dragonfly 44. And apparently it's 99.99% dark matter. So then, the joke was like, the other 0.01% is Zogo. Like I was the only other thing there besides the dark matter. Like, so it's a little geeky thing that I come up with. And if you want to know the results of that testing that I performed, like I said, you can just ask me in Truthers or DM me, because it's not really a conversation for the moment, but it was pretty interesting. So anyways, my mission for the community, obviously it's to be a liaison between the community and the team, to communicate things as simply and thoroughly as possible so that you guys all understand what's going on, just breaking things down into layman's terms and just making it so that there's no confusion. And even though a lot of this can be really complex, especially if you're new to crypto, like I was when I first got involved with the project, I knew nothing about wallets and, Ethereum gas fees and all this type of stuff. I didn't know anything about it. So I've been in that position before. So, I can help you out with that. And also just even if there's new announcements coming down the pipeline, I can disseminate the information and present it in the best way possible. And so as I told you, I'm a long-term member of the community and also a long-term token holder. So I understand the unique needs of the community and the desires that you guys have and what, you want to know and everything like that. So, and that's the case with all of our admins, really. Like, most of us, if not all of us, are long-term token holders. Like, we've been in it, since ICO or around that time, pretty early on. So when you're speaking to admins, don't think of it so much as like, these people don't know what you're going through or they're not part of you, because we are community members as well. So yeah, you can always feel free to like share your questions, comments, concerns, even complaints, but always in a respectful way. Because one of my main goals also is to improve the relations between the community and the team, and kind of bridge any gaps that may be there. Because just as you as the community deserve clear answers and transparency and all of that, the team deserves respect for all the hard work that they put into and all the time that they dedicate to making this decentralized AI platform and ecosystem come to life and come to reality. So, they don't deserve to be name called and bashed and personal attacks and put downs and all that type of stuff. So that, always won't be accepted. But constructive criticism is welcome, as you can see what happened with the airdrop and even the phase 2 proposal. They listened right away and immediately went back into the lab and came up, with something based on everybody's feedback. So we're always listening to the community. And so just keep that in mind, that even if you do have a criticism or a problem, that you can present it in a respectful manner and not automatically just assume that somebody's trying to scam you, or that, oh, this is a disingenuous effort because I think you guys made a mistake here. Because we're all human, even though there is highly, highly, highly intelligent people in this organization, everyone, but everybody is human and makes mistakes. So if a mistake was made, even if it was a collective of people and it didn't turn out to be the best thing, have respect and have grace and know that these people do care about you and that they are here to serve you, and that you guys are number one, because without the community, there is no SingularityNet, So yeah, just keep that in mind. Yeah, so on the Reju side, which is the other half of my position, as I said, I have a kind of a background in the medical field. It was more of a behind the scenes role. I was not in patient care, but I'm very much familiar with medical terminology, disease processes, the different drugs that they use to treat diseases, the surgeries that they use or that they do perform to treat certain illnesses and all of that. So because of that background, I'm helping to design the Rejuve longevity app. One of the cool things that I noticed about this project was that they are actually welcoming of natural medicine and traditional Chinese medicine. So it's not all drug focused. While drug therapies and DNA therapies are a part of it, there is actually room for natural medicine, which I'm very much passionate about. It's actually really cool because if you go on the rejuve.io website, you'll see, if you go underneath the business tab, you'll see that there's actually an anti-big pharma graphic there. And I was like, yes, like when I saw that, I'm like, yep, that's all me. I said back to my truther background and all of that, because big pharma is all about profits. It's all about just focusing on symptoms and not actually curing anything, and definitely not leading anybody to longevity and extension of health span or anything like that. It's all about money, money, money. So the purpose of Rejuve, or one of the big purposes of Rejuve, is to encourage people to submit their own health data into a decentralized, protocol that they own the data, and that they can submit it to longevity clinics and other centers that are focused on advanced research to actually cure or solve the problem of aging, and just further along that whole entire goal, rather than just, okay, you have this symptom or you have this problem, let's try to make you feel like you don't have it anymore, even though you're going to have it for the rest of your life. While it's transitioning to, let's actually get to the root of this, not only cure it, but make it almost impossible, or, at least to an extent of you don't experience anything to do with this, say we've deleted it from either your genetic code or just your overall experience. So it's a lot different from, just traditional pop a pill when you're sick type of protocol. So I really like the Rejuve project because of that. And like I said, because of supplements and natural things are included. and not just pharmaceutical drugs. Because there's a lot of validity and real science being done there that gets overshadowed and, kind of put away just because people tend to not trust it. And the reason why they don't trust it is because it's not published and publicized, because it's not profitable for pharma. And that's pretty much it. And the other aspect, like I said, is I call it real science, where they're actually taking real user data, analyzing it with advanced AI, and coming up with solutions. And it's like a back and forth thing between the user of Rejuve, where you're inputting your data, and then the clinicians and scientists on the other side that are analyzing that data, and they're doing it direct. And it's through the Rejuve token or Rejuve point system, eventually to be a token. And so it's not about, just straight up dollars and cents. So that is much different from science paid for and funded by Monsanto, where they basically hire their own scientists to, it's all just a monopoly and everything like that. So I really like that whole decentralized healthcare aspect. And then there's also Awakening Health and all of that. So this is really exciting project to be a part of, and I'm very honored and happy to be on that side as well. So yeah, so I'm like super excited to finally be an official member of SingularityNET. And as I said, you can always feel free to reach out and share any questions, comments, concerns, always in a respectful manner. Always, that's like one of our hallmark rules, to just be very respectful, cordial, mature, pretty much. Also, another recent issue that's been going on is scams. Being that we're about to, well, depending on the timing of this video, go into the airdrop. So I wrote an anti-scam guide, which basically has all of the official links, all our social media pages, all the Telegram pages that have to do with SingularityNET and SingularityDAO. So, and it also has all of the admin tags, so you can click on them and directly link to their Telegram account, so you know that if somebody, because they impersonate the admins and the team members, so they can put a picture of my face, and I'm sure you all have seen it, put my username, copy my bio and everything like that, and maybe switch a couple of I's for lowercase L's or whatever they do, and message you and ask you to connect your wallet to some dodgy link or something like that. And if you ever get one of those, that's a scam. SingularityNET will never ask you to connect your wallet in a DM or do anything weird. Everything's always done in a very professional manner. Like, all the announcements will be laid out, and there'll be a certain protocol for things. You're not going to have an admin just randomly DM you, oh, hi, have you solved that problem that you posted about? Oh, well, here's what I need you to do. Just send your wallet to this one and connect with me and send me something. No, and they will never ask you to send them tokens. No SingularityNET team member or admin will ever ask you to send them AGI or any other token. That's a complete scam, complete bogus. So yeah, just read the anti-scam guide and be very careful during these times, because there's going to be even more of them out there as we rise in popularity and all of that. And yeah, so that's pretty much me, and I'm looking forward to meeting all the new people that come in and all those ones that were here the rest of the time to continue to interact with you. And yeah, stay tuned for more updates about Rejuve and our other spin-off projects.